Hey there guys, welcome to the fourth part of my horror DVD and Blu-ray collection. Today, we're going to be covering this section right here. There's going to be one more part to my horror collection, and that will be the final part. And that's going to be this section down here below. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to do more videos covering my entire movie collection based on genres or sections. I don't know yet. Depends on how much time I have. I usually do these videos at night when I can't sleep. So I say, you know what, let me just record a video covering the movies that I own. Anyway, we last left off with Midnight Movie. And as I mentioned at the end of my previous video, Midnight Movie is about a mass killer killing people in a movie theater. And rewatching my video, I can't help but think about the victims who passed away in July during the shooting in the movie theater for The Dark Knight Rises premiere. I in no way was trying to be indifferent when I mentioned the synopsis of this movie. I was just trying to cover my movies as quickly as possible. So if anybody caught on to that or felt I was directing, towards the victims who passed away, I wasn't. I was just trying to quickly give a synopsis. So I apologize beforehand if anybody took offense. Anyway, I already mentioned all the way up to here, Martyrs. There's two more movies here. Here is Magic. This is a film with Anthony Hopkins, a much younger Anthony Hopkins, in a horror film. I haven't seen it yet. I had it in my collection for a long time, but I do know that it's with Anthony Hopkins. Here we have Mindhunters. This is with LL Cool J. It's with LL Cool J, Christian Slater, and Val Kilmer. I've actually met Christian Slater before. I met him in person. It's very random. I met him at work. I work for UPS, for the UPS store, and he came by just to ship some items. And very down-to-earth guy, very cool guy. Got him to autograph my DVD of True Romance. Anyway, continuing over here. Here we have Necropolis. Dreadful movie that I had to review. Very bad movie. If you want to watch the review, it's on my video channel. Just check up review number 4, I believe, and that will be Necropolis. I still have it here in my collection, but it will soon disappear. Here we have Nightmare, the uncut version. I don't know if I would consider this movie as a slasher film. I mean, it says here, where is it? Somewhere around here in the DVD says, if you liked Friday the 13th, you're going to love this movie. Anyway, this is a 30th anniversary edition. It's a 2-disc, and it brings a lot of special features. It brings 2 versions of the film, and by 2 versions, they're identical. The only difference is the mastering. One of them is really grainy, and one of them isn't. I actually prefer the grainy version. It kind of gives it a grindhouse feel. And this movie is about this maniac, this guy who gets out of a mental institution and starts committing horrific crimes. The makeup effects are pretty cool. Like you can tell, they put some work into them, and this is before the heyday of CGI. So the movie itself, not that great. The story is pretty bland. The acting is kind of lackluster, but the effects are pretty good. Alright, here we have The New York Ripper, released through Blue Underground. I just got this movie very recently. I like these, sleazy, low-budget grindhouse movies, slasher films. I collect them. I haven't seen it yet, though, so it's here. Here we have Night of the Comet. Also got this one very recently and still haven't seen it. Here we have Torso, also released through Blue Underground. This is brand new, haven't seen it yet. All I know, it's an Italian film, and it's part of a genre called the Gallo or Giallo films. So, and here we have Trucks. Haven't opened this yet, but apparently this is kind of like a remake of Maximum Overdrive. So those are the movies that are stuck here in between that I couldn't find space for. So, going back to alphabetical order, here we have The Mist. And The Mist is one of those movies that when you first watch it, you can't help but feel that, you know, this sort of anger towards the main character. And I won't mention why, because I know there's a lot of people who haven't seen the film. But this is a great Stephen King adaptation, directed by Frank Darabont. And Frank Darabont has directed great films like The Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile. So this movie, the DVD here, the Blu-ray, brings two versions. I used to own a DVD, and I think that's why I said DVD. The DVD that I used to own had two discs, and the first disc had the color version, and the second disc had the black and white version. This one here has both versions in one disc. I think the second disc is only the special features, but let me make sure on that. Actually, no, it's exactly as the DVD. Disc 1, color, disc 2, black and white. I've seen it in both black and white and color, and I don't know, I think the film in black and white feels a little bit more of a traditional horror ghost story, and the effects, the CGI, kind of looks a little bit better in black and white than in color, because the movie was intended to be released in black and white, but last minute, decisions, they released the film in color. Great movie, great horror movie, I recommend it. So let's continue. Here we have Mortuary. Got this one recently. Haven't seen it yet. That's all I have to say. The Mimic Collection 3-film set. To this day, I have never seen any of the Mimic films. I found this at a $5 bin in Walmart, and so what the hey? 3 films, $5, why not? So it brings the uncut version of the first film and the direct-to-video sequels. These are released through Miramax. Anytime now. Let's just put it here to the side for the moment. Keep in mind I only have one hand for the camera and the other hand to show you the DVDs. Here we have Needful Things, another Stephen King adaptation with Ed Harris, Max von Sydow, and Bonnie Bedella. I haven't seen this in a long time. I remember liking it when I first saw it. I would have to rewatch it again. And when I saw it a while ago, it was in tape, so that tells you how long ago it was. Here we have The Ninth Gate. Funny thing about this movie, I've only seen this movie in parts. It's not that it's boring, it's just, maybe it's because it's boring, it's a little too slow for me. I like slow films, but something about this movie, it seems interesting, but I'm probably watching it in the wrong times when I'm just too tired. But one day, when I'm fully awake and fully attentive, I will watch The Ninth Gate. So, don't criticize me, I will watch it. Here we have the Nightmare on Elm Street collection. This is a really cool DVD. Brings all 8 movies in one nice set. It does not bring, however, Freddy vs. Jason, which I own independently. So, Nightmare on Elm Street, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, Dream Warrior, The Dream Master, The Dream Child, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, and oh shit, it does bring Freddy vs. Jason. So, in my face, I own Freddy vs. Jason twice. On DVD and on Blu-ray. See, sometimes I don't even know what I own. I think the reason, I used to own another collection, a bigger collection that was released back in like 1999, and that one, of course, did not have Freddy vs. Jason. So, anyway, here we have the remake in a little lenticular cover. Not too fond of the remake, but I have it anyway. I actually saw the remake in theaters. Very disappointed. Near Dark. A great vampire movie where The vampires are never mentioned by their name. Watch it. Great movie. Night School, haven't seen this yet. This is from the Warner Archive Collection. It's supposed to be a slasher film. Night of the Creeps, I mentioned this in my previous video. Great horror film. It's kind of a throwback to like old school B movies, horror sci-fi B movies. 976 Evil, still haven't seen this movie. Nightbreed, haven't seen it yet, and I think I'm gonna watch it probably tonight, or maybe not, but I will definitely watch this one soon. I've been wanting to watch this for the longest. It's from the creator of Hellraiser, Clive Barker, and it has an actual cameo or a small role with David Cronenberg. See, David Cronenberg's like right over there. I've only seen him act once, and it wasn't that great. It was in the Jason movie, Jason X. Here we have number 23, unrated edition. This movie was really hated on, and I agree, it's not a great movie at all, but it was nice to see Jim Carrey in a serious role. I'd seen him serious before in The Majestic, but I'd never seen him in a horror film, so there you go. Nosferatu, still haven't seen it. Heard a lot of good stuff about it. 100 Feet, this is with Famke Janssen, unrated and uncut. Got this for like $1.50 at Cash Pawn America. If you ever, I don't know if there's any Cash Pawn Americas outside of Miami, there probably is. Check them out, they sometimes have some good sales on movies. The Blu-rays not so much. They sell Blu-rays for like $10, but their DVDs, you'll find some good DVDs. But you gotta make sure they're not scratched. I always check them to see if they're not scratched. I'm really picky on that. And most of the time they come in their blockbuster cases, but I just switch them up. But that movie's there for cheap. Another good place to find cheap movies if you're interested is Big Lots. You'll find movies there for like $3 and $5. And I'll mention some of the horror movies I have here that I got from Big Lots and that pawn shop place. Here we have The Others. Still haven't seen this movie. The Orphan. Phantom of the Opera with Robert Englund. Prom Night with Jamie Lee Curtis. Prom Night 2. Prom Night 3 and 4, double feature. Prom Night, unrated edition. I've only seen from the Prom Night movies the first one. I haven't seen the sequels or the remake, but I have them in my collection anyway. Here we have Prom Night, the original theatrical version. I got this from Big Lots for $3. That's probably what it's worth, but I have it in my collection anyway. Piranha. This is the Roger Corman classic. Piranha 2, The Spawning, which was directed by no other than, where is it? James Cameron, that's right, this is his first film. And he tries so hard to disown this film because it was really bad. Piranha, the remake, really cheesy. Piranha Double D, or also known as 3DD. Haven't even opened this yet, but from what I heard, this one was just as bad as the previous one. I mean, these are movies that are really cheesy, you know, you gotta take them for what they are. The Prophecy Collection with Christopher Walken. The first film is great. This other sequels I haven't really seen. I remember seeing part 2 and 3 years ago, but the one I remember most is the first one. Got this for like, I think it's like $10 at Walmart. I don't really remember, but I remember I didn't pay much for it. Poltergeist. Classic horror movie. Poltergeist 2 and 3, double feature. Pumpkinhead. A lot of these movies are available on Blu-ray, and you may be asking why don't I pick them up on Blu-ray. I'm really picky with Blu-ray. There's certain movies that I'll get on Blu-ray. I hate double dipping. Even if it has more special features, I try to stick to the version that I already own, unless it's a movie that I must have on Blu-ray. But for the most part, I just stick to the DVD that I already have. Pumpkinhead 2 Blood Wings, which I prefer over the first one, but that's just me because I saw the second one when I was like 8 years old. Yeah, it's wrong, 8 years old, to watch a really gruesome horror movie, but Pumpkinhead 2 has a special place in my childhood heart. Pumpkinhead 4 Ashes to Ashes, made for the Sci-Fi Channel, haven't seen it. Pumpkinhead Blood Feud, haven't seen it either. P2, it's an underrated movie from Alexandre Aja. And it's a movie about this girl in a parking lot, and she's just trying to survive a Christmas night from this, serial killer who's trying to kill her. But anyway, Psycho Collector's special edition. This one's a really nice version of it. One of my favorite films. If you haven't seen it, I don't know what's wrong with you. Go watch it. This is a Psycho triple feature. Brings Psycho 2, Psycho 3, and Psycho 4, The Beginning. And the new TV series that premiered on ABC, I think it's ABC or one of those channels, they made one called Bates Motel, or they're working on one called Bates Motel, and it feels very similar to Psycho 4, which is, the early years of Norman Bates. I remember getting this version, this triple feature at Walmart years ago. And the slipcover is very different than the actual. It looks different on the inside. Here we have the horrible remake. I only have it because it's part of the franchise, and that's Psycho. Chicken, relax, take a shower, and watch a really horrible movie. This is the one with Julianne Moore, Viggo Mortensen. Not really good. Quarantine. This is a remake of the movie Wreck. Not very good. You can tell the movie was the acting is not very realistic. Once I talk about Wreck, you'll know what I mean. Quarantine 2 I picked up because it was really cheap, but I haven't seen it yet. Got this also at that pawn shop. The Raven, still haven't seen it. Here we have a movie called Rabid, one of the early films from David Cronenberg. Really, good low-budget movie. Red Eye. I don't know if to consider this movie a horror film, but I have it here because it has certain horror elements. So, can't really fit it in drama. Maybe thriller. So, but The Reanimator, this is the Millennium Edition with Lucasfilm THX. Brings a lot of special features. It's a 2-disc. Here we have a movie called Remains. Got this from Best Buy for $10. And it's supposed to be a zombie film in Las Vegas. And yeah, this town will eat you alive. And I know it had a little subtext. So when I first picked it up, I thought it was Stephen Miner. He was the one who directed the third part or second part of Friday the 13th, but it's Steve Niles. Here we have Wreck 1 and 2 on Blu-ray. If you haven't seen these movies, watch them. These are great horror movies. This movie was what they used as an inspiration for Quarantine. And actually, Quarantine is a scene-by-scene remake of Wreck 1. And Wreck 1 is about this news broadcaster, this young news broadcaster lady who is filming this small little, residence. And with her is this fire department people. They come in and they're, they got an emergency call, and little do they know that the emergency call is this woman who has this form of rabies, and it's kind of like a zombie rabies, kind of like the characters, the zombies from 28 Days Later. 1 and 2 are great, however, stay far, far away from this one. I'm gonna get rid of this one soon. Wreck Genesis. Whereas the first two were POV movies, this one, it's the first 20 minutes is POV, then the rest is just shot as a regular horror film. And this doesn't stand up. It doesn't stand up to the first two. And all three were shot in Spain. They're in Spanish, but you can watch them either dubbed or subtitled. I recommend them you watch them in with the subtitle. I don't like watching movies dubbed, and the dubbing on these movies are not that great. But watch them, they're great. The first two, that is. This one, not so much. Resident Evil, great video game adaptation, just the first one. Part 2, it's alright, I guess. 3, it's alright. Afterlife, garbage. I have it because it's part of the series. Even more garbage. I don't need to say more. Rosemary's Baby. This one is a classic. I had it originally on tape, and this is the first time I own it on Blu-ray. This is from the same director who went on to direct The Ninth Gate, and it has similar themes about, you know, Satanism and all that stuff, but for some reason I just can't get myself to watch Ninth Gate fully, but I will. Rubber. This movie's funny. It's a horror movie about a killer tire, you know. That's all I have to say about that one. Return to Horror High. Got this on FYE close near where I live, and it was for $4.97. I ended up paying with, you know, this big ass discount. I think I paid like 50 cents for it. The Ringu Anthology of Terror. This brings like all the original movies that inspired The Ring. I've only seen Ringu. I haven't seen the other ones. I have seen the American adaptations, which are The Ring, great. Ring 2, not so great. Here we have House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects. Satan's Baby Doll. This movie. Cover looks great, right? Really cool art, right? What are those, boobies? Yeah, that's what they are. The movie itself, and the cover looks great, but the movie itself, it's garbage. It's, from what I remember, this weird family does weird cult shit. Like, I really couldn't pay much attention to it, and the movie was really short. Like, it was like 73 minutes long. It felt like 3 fucking hours. Wrong place. Here we have Satanico Pandemonium. This is actually the name of the character in the movie From Dusk Till Dawn. So yeah, La Sexorcista. This was later used in the Rob Zombie CDs. He uses this in one of the songs, La Sexorcista. So this movie I haven't seen it yet, but I picked it up for that main reason, because of these names have been used in, you know, movies and in music. From Bride of Christ to Slave of Satan. By the way, I'm not a Satanist, even though I have these crazy horror movies. From Mondo Macabro. Anyway, Straw Dogs, the original version, Straw Dogs, the remake. I paid full price when this movie came out, and I saw this at Big Lots for $3. Paid myself so much for that. I've heard mixed reviews about the remake, but I liked the original. Sweet 16. The Shining, the original version with Jack Nicholson. The Shining TV adaptation. Season of the Witch. Here we have Sleepy Hollow, Summer Fear, Storm of the Century. This is a Stephen King adaptation made for TV. Saw, Saw 2, Saw 3, Saw 4, Saw 5, Saw 6, and Saw the Final Chapter. Mega Shark vs. Giant Octopus. Really funny. This is from the Sci-Fi Channel. Here we have Sharktopus, another Sci-Fi Channel movie. Here we have the original version of Shudder. Seventh Moon. Seventh Moon is great. I originally saw this movie a long time ago. A friend of mine let me borrow it, and I really liked it. Really creepy movie, and I had to pick it up. Found it for $6 on an FYE. Here we have Smiley. Haven't seen this one yet, but the trailers look kind of promising, you know. But looking at the DVD now, maybe not so much. We'll see. I'll eventually have to watch it. And here we have Sinister. If it ever wants to come out. Here we have, Sinister. I really like this movie. Great effective horror movie. And it's from the creators of Paranormal Activity and Insidious. Well, from the producers. It's not from the actual creator, James Wan. I really like this movie. If you're into, you know, old ghost story movies, you'll enjoy Sinister. So that's it for part 4 of my movie collection. Part 5 will be the last part of my horror collection. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to cover all of the movies. Keep in mind, look how much movies I have to cover. We already covered 1, 2, 3, and 4. We still have to cover all of that. And then all of that. That's a lot of movies. So we'll see, you know, and then I have some CDs over there. So we'll see if we'll cover the rest. But for now, that's all I have. And until next time, take care.